Tonight, the bullets fly in Bahrain as unrest sweeps the Arab world. Calls to move children out of detention and into the community more quickly. A robotic receptionist let the flying donut lead the way. And all hands on deck for the Cricket World Cup. Good evening, Felicity Davey with ABC News. Tremors of rebellion are spreading across the Middle East as more than 70 people have been injured during violent and bloody clashes in Bahrain. Defying government bans, thousands of people have marched through the streets as they mourn the deaths of 4 protesters killed this week. Western leaders, including the US President, have voiced their concerns over the escalating violence, and senior officials from around the world will gather in Brussels next week to discuss the growing unrest in the region. Here's ABC Middle East correspondent Ben Knight.
After burying the dead, defiant anti-government protesters tried once again to march towards Pearl Square. Once again, they were met by security forces on armoured personnel carriers who opened fire. There was chaos as the protesters tried to carry out the wounded. As they sought treatment nearby, the smell of tear gas arrived with them. Medical staff struggled to deal with the injured.
Definitely a live ammunition, because the femur, the bone is completely shattered in pieces, many pieces.
Outside the hospital, protesters chanted, "The people want to topple a regime," and "Down with King Hamid." The country's crown prince called for calm and offered his condolences to the people.
Self-control and ethics are needed from all parties at this time. This includes the armed forces, police and citizens.
It's 5 weeks and counting as the political parties gear up for next month's state election. Labor's latest promise is to clean up the streets if it's returned to power with a crackdown on graffiti. Under the plans, courts would treat racist and offensive graffiti as a more serious offence. In South Australia, an aerial search of Coffin Bay and the surrounding area has so far failed to find any trace of shark attack victim Peter Clarkson. The 50-year-old was taken by 2 sharks on Thursday night. Police are yet to reveal whether he was wearing a shark shield device.
Rosemary Tierney, ABC News, Adelaide.
Residents in the West Australian coastal town of Carnarvon are breathing a sigh of relief tonight as floodwaters begin to subside. It's the 3rd flood there in 2 months, and while the town escaped major damage, residents and businesses are still facing another big clean-up. The ABC's Andrew O'Connor reports now from Carnarvon.
The floodplains of Carnarvon became a sea of brown, muddy water today as the Gascoyne River burst its banks. The water peaked at 7.1 metres, but there was no repeat of December's devastating flood damage.
Emergency surgery can be risky for anyone, but Australian research has found the death rate can be as high as 10% in elderly patients. A gathering of anaesthetists in Tasmania has heard older patients need to be better prepared for operations and the possible effects it could have on their health and independence. In eastern Congo, for the first time, a senior military officer is on trial for crimes against humanity. A mobile court's been hearing evidence from more than 60 women who were allegedly attacked in retaliation for the shooting of a soldier. The military tribunal is now preparing to hand down its judgment on the charges of mass rape. ABC Africa correspondent Ginny Stein is in Baraka. New South Wales is in a strong position at stumps on day 2 of its Sheffield Shield match against Victoria at the MCG. Phil Jakes top scored with 129 as the Blues made 416. In reply, Victoria is struggling on 8 for 206. This month marks 150 years since the Newmarket Sale Yards in Inner Melbourne opened, and hundreds of former drovers and livestock workers have met up to celebrate the glory days of their trade. Even though the sale yards shut 2 decades ago to be replaced by housing, the spirit of the place lives on. Time to check the weather this Saturday night. In Sydney today it reached 30 degrees, 4 above average. It got to 37 in parts of the west. Around New South Wales, some monsoonal activity and tropical cyclone Diane has been indirectly affecting much of the southeast coast as it sent moisture into a trough today. And as we've seen, that trough has brought widespread rain to Queensland. Some of that is now moving through to southeastern New South Wales. And scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms spread across inland New South Wales this afternoon in association with a trough of low pressure. In the capital cities today, it was cloudy in Brisbane and Canberra. There were showers in Melbourne, Hobart, Adelaide and Darwin. It was mostly sunny in Perth. The satellite picture shows clouds stretching across the country's interior and southeast in a trough, which is generating gusty rain. And into tomorrow, a cooler southwesterly change should generate a few showers. Across Tasmania and southern Victoria, hot norwesterly winds will affect eastern New South Wales. So, around the nation tomorrow, showers in Brisbane, Melbourne, Hobart and Adelaide, possible showers in Perth, thunderstorms again for Darwin, sunny in Canberra. Around New South Wales tomorrow, coastal showers and sunshine in the northeast of the state, with northwest to northeasterly winds, then a cooler southwesterly change extending throughout the state. Winds up to 25 knots on the northern coast on a swell to 1.5 metres. In the southeast of the state, coastal showers, and showers will clear from the southern inland and ranges early in the day. On southeast waters, winds will reach 30 knots on a swell to 1.5 metres. And inland tomorrow, expect isolated showers, a warm to hot day. In Sydney, cloudy, isolated showers and thunderstorms for Sunday, a top of 30 degrees for the city, up to 33 in parts of the west. Winds will get up to 15 knots on Sydney waters. Sunrise at 25 minutes to 7 and the air quality should be good. In Sydney over the next week, showers for Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, then staying warm for the remainder of the week. Recapping tonight's top stories, the rebellion in the Arab world is spreading. More than 70 demonstrators have been injured in Bahrain when security forces opened fire. And refugee advocates say the government's moving too slowly to release children from detention centres. That's the latest ABC News for now. We'll have another news update at 8:30, but we'll leave you now with the taste of the Melon Festival in the Queensland town of Chinchilla. For now, good night.